There is one country where babies barely cry, sleep like little champions, and grow into the happiest kids on the planet. And the strange part is this. The world's biggest child agency keeps checking the numbers, and the answer never changes. That agency is UNICEF, and every few years they rank the richest countries in the world by how well their children are doing. They look at mental health, physical health, and life skills. One country keeps landing right at the top. It is not the United States. It is not Japan or South Korea, even though those countries push their kids hard in school. The winner is a small, flat, rainy place near the North Sea, the Netherlands. In the most recent reports, Dutch children came first overall, first in the West for mental health, near the top for physical health, and they held that spot even after a global pandemic shook up childhoods everywhere. That is almost unheard of. Here is a number that stops people cold. Around 87% of Dutch teenagers say they are satisfied with their lives. That is the highest score of any wealthy country measured. Most nations would celebrate for years over a result like that. So the whole world started asking the obvious question, what are these people doing that the rest of us are not? And the answer does not start in school or with fancy toys. It starts on the very first day a baby comes home. Because the Dutch have a parenting idea so old it feels almost forgotten. It goes back centuries, and they have quietly followed it for generations, long before any ranking existed. It has a simple name that Dutch parents still whisper today. They call it the 3 R's. In Dutch, the words are rust, regelmaat, and reinheid. In plain English, that means rest, regularity, and cleanliness. 3 little words. But together they may quietly shape the calmest babies on earth. This is not some trendy method dreamed up for social media. A booklet teaching these 3 words was handed to new Dutch mothers back in the early 1900s. The roots reach even further, to a Dutch doctor writing about sleep centuries ago. Now here is where it gets interesting. Researchers from Utrecht University compared Dutch families with American families for years. They watched, they measured, they interviewed hundreds of mothers, and what they found about Dutch babies truly surprised them. The Dutch babies were calmer. They cried less. They smiled and cuddled more. And most shocking of all, they slept far longer than the American babies. We are not talking about a few extra minutes here. By 6 months old, the average Dutch baby was getting close to 2 whole extra hours of sleep every single day. 2 hours. Imagine that stacked up across a week, a month, a year of a tiny growing brain. In one study, Dutch babies slept about 15 hours a day, while similar American babies slept around 13. And it was not just more sleep, it was deeper, calmer sleep, the kind that repairs the body and builds the brain. Scientists even noticed something wild. During that deep, quiet sleep, the body releases growth hormone. Some researchers wonder if all that extra Dutch sleep is one quiet reason the Dutch grow up to be the tallest people in the world. So the big question becomes, how? How do Dutch parents get their babies to sleep so much more than everyone else? The answer is that second R, regularity. And it might be the most powerful of the 3. Regularity simply means a predictable rhythm to the day. The Dutch baby eats around the same times, naps around the same times, sleeps around the same time each night. The day becomes a gentle, repeating loop the baby can count on. Think about how a baby experiences the world. Everything is brand new. Everything is uncertain. A predictable schedule hands that little person one solid, safe thing to hold on to. It tells the baby the world is steady and nothing scary is coming. And a baby who feels safe relaxes. A relaxed baby falls asleep more easily and stays asleep longer. Dutch parents treat that daily rhythm as almost sacred. In many homes, nap time is holy and nothing is allowed to break it. This is where Dutch parents look different from the rest of us. They will leave a party early because the baby needs to sleep. They will turn down plans that fall during nap time, and they feel zero guilt about any of it. Now compare that to a common approach in many other countries. There, the belief is that babies need constant stimulation, new sights, new sounds, new toys, new outings, all day long. Parents worry that a bored baby is a baby falling behind. The Dutch quietly do the opposite. They keep the day calm and low-key, fewer flashing toys, fewer loud outings, more gentle time at home, and here is the twist. That calmer world does not hold babies back. It settles them. A researcher watched one Dutch mother go through her morning. She fed her baby, then set her down in a quiet spot with just a couple of simple toys. No overload, no constant entertainment. Just soft, unhurried time before the next nap. That baby was not being ignored. She was being protected from overload. Because an overstimulated baby gets wired, cranky, and hard to settle. A gently paced baby drifts off calmly. The Dutch figured this out long before the science caught up. There is another habit that sounds almost strange to outsiders. Dutch parents often put their babies down for naps outside, in the fresh air, even when it is cold. They believe the crisp outdoor air is good for a growing child. Bundled up snug and warm, the baby naps in a pram on the porch or in the garden. Many parents swear these outdoor naps are longer and deeper. It is one more small piece of that same quiet philosophy. Rest above all. But rest and regularity are only two of the 3 R's. The third one, cleanliness, sounds obvious today. Yet it hides a bigger idea about how the Dutch treat the whole world around their baby. And that idea changes everything. Back when these 3 words first spread, clean simply meant safe. Wash your hands. Keep the baby clean. Keep the home clean. In those days, that advice saved lives, and it kept fragile babies healthy through their most vulnerable months. But over time, cleanliness grew into something deeper. It became about order, a calm, tidy, predictable space around the baby. Not spotless like a hospital, but settled and simple. A home where a small child is not swimming in chaos and clutter. When you put all 3 R's together, a clear picture appears. Plenty of rest, a steady rhythm, a calm, ordered home. It is a childhood built on peace rather than pressure, and that peace is the real secret sitting underneath the rankings. But the 3 R's are only half the story. The other half is the mood Dutch parents bring to the whole thing, and it is the exact opposite of the anxious, pressure-filled parenting so many of us know. The Dutch have a saying that roughly means, just act normal. That is already crazy enough. It sounds funny, but it shapes their entire approach. Do not push too hard, do not compare, do not turn childhood into a race to win. So Dutch parents do not hover over every moment. They do not fill every hour with lessons and classes. They let babies and toddlers have space to explore, to fuss a little, to figure small things out on their own. And this relaxed mood is not just good for the baby, it saves the parents too. A calmer parent is a warmer parent. When you are not stressed and exhausted, you have more patience, more softness, more love to give your child. It helps that Dutch parents get real support from day one. After a birth, a special home nurse visits the family for about a week. She helps care for the baby, guides the new mother, and even does light chores around the house. Imagine that. Instead of being sent home alone and overwhelmed with a tiny newborn, Dutch families get a calm expert in their corner. So the rest and rhythm can begin gently, right from those first exhausting, precious days. There is more. Many Dutch parents work shorter weeks. Part-time work is normal and respected, for mothers and fathers alike. That means more time at home, more slow mornings, more family meals, more of that unhurried rhythm babies quietly thrive on. And speaking of meals, the Dutch family dinner is its own small ritual. It happens early, often around 5 in the evening. Everyone sits together. It anchors the day, and it clears the way for an early, peaceful bedtime for the little ones. Notice how it all links together. The early dinner leads to the early bath. The bath leads to the same calm bedtime every night. Step by step, the day folds down softly, and the baby learns that sleep is coming. And crucially, Dutch parents let babies learn to fall asleep on their own. Instead of rocking or holding until the very last second, they gently put the drowsy baby down. Over time, the baby learns to settle without needing to be rescued. This one habit is huge. A baby who can self-settle wakes in the night, stirs, and drifts back to sleep alone. No full waking, no crying for help every hour. Which means the baby sleeps longer, and so do the parents. And here is the beautiful loop. Well-rested babies are calmer. Calmer babies are easier. Easier babies mean rested parents. Rested parents stay patient and warm, and that warmth flows right back to the baby. Everyone wins together. So now the real question for you. How much of this can a parent anywhere actually copy? You may not have the Dutch nurse or the short work week, but the heart of it costs nothing at all. Let us make it simple. Start with rhythm. Pick rough times for feeding, naps, and bedtime, and gently keep them. You do not need a strict timetable. You just need the day to repeat in a familiar shape so the baby always senses what comes next. Next, protect sleep like it matters, because it does. Guard nap time. Keep bedtime early and steady. Say no to plans that wreck the rhythm. It may feel strict at first, but a rested baby will reward you 100 times over. Then lower the noise. You do not need a wall of flashing toys and constant activity. Give your baby quieter days. Simple play, calm spaces, less overload. A gently paced baby is usually a happier, easier, sleepier baby by evening. Build a soft landing into each night. The same few steps in the same order. Maybe a bath, then dim lights, then a quiet cuddle, then down to bed. Babies love knowing what comes next. That little routine becomes a signal for sleep. And try the fresh air trick. On a mild day, let your baby nap outside in a safe, cozy pram, or simply open a window for some cool, moving air. Many parents are amazed by how well their little one sleeps. But maybe the most important step is the hardest one. Let go of the pressure. Stop comparing your baby to every other baby. Your child does not need to be the fastest or the busiest. A calm, loved, well-rested baby is already winning, because that is the quiet truth behind the whole Dutch secret. It was never about spending more or doing more. It was about doing less, but doing it steadily. Rest, rhythm, calm, and a whole lot less pressure on everyone. UNICEF can keep running the numbers year after year. And year after year, that little country by the sea keeps landing on top. Not because of magic, not because of money, but because of 3 old words most of the world forgot. Rest, regularity, cleanliness. A steady, gentle, low-pressure childhood. You do not have to move to the Netherlands to give that to your baby. You can start with one calmer nap tomorrow, and your little one may just thank you for it.